Old Man Sarge here. So I think we're doing a recording of this, but I'll do a short video just to see. For some reason I had a problem with the video wasn't working, and so I wasn't able to do a recording for anybody here. So we'll just do a brief overview of Seerensey, and then we'll do some talking about what's going on, and then I'll upload the video because I haven't uploaded one in a long time. So first of all, you'll see that I am level 28 and 2.5 bubbles from level 29, so pretty close. I am full up on magical items, except for the torch is not magical, except for the belt. So I guess the torch and the belt aren't. My intellect is 29 and agility is 17, and I've been trying to increase some of these other things like con, because it seems to have an impact on, not only does it give you an additional armor class, but is that all it does? Anyway, armor class, but it also has something to do with my electrical spells, it appears. And then strength has something to do with not only your weight carrying ability, but my fire spells, like strength apparently. And then cold apparently likes agility. So to become a wizard, you might want to have your second category of stats are like agility, con, and strength, it appears. And intellect is important because it increases your mana. And charisma and wisdom don't seem to matter. I've heard dexterity does, but I don't see how it does here. Stamina will increase your health, so that's kind of important too. I have Gossamer Hood. I have Gossamer Tunic. I have Gossamer Shawl, although I want to kind of replace that with something with intelligence. I have Unmortal Cloak, which I think came from Haldir's. I have Gossamer Sleeves, which again I want to replace because they don't give me any intelligence. I have Wisp Weave Gloves, which came from Haldmir, and so did the Shade Threaded Cloth Pants. And this did too, Gustler's Enchanted Toenail. I do have a Constitution ring and an Agility ring. And I have the Silken Treaders, which come from out here in Silent Plains. These came off a Goblin in Wild's End. It just gives you magic resistance. And this came from Haldnir's. It gives 3 intellect, some magic resistance, but -3 chemical. And this necklace also from, I think, the Ghosts and Haldnir's. Wisdom, intellect, and magic resistance. So that's how I've gotten to 27. The reason I'm saying 29 is because I actually have a buff spell that puts me up to. So that's where we're at as far as the character goes. And I can make a lot of different things. Like this right down here is this Enchanter's Battle Staff. I can make that. And I made one for my Enchanter too. That's all for the character. The levels, I'm going to just go ahead and kill this, but I'm going to talk about how I'm killing it. What I normally do is I hit it with Personal Blizzard. Other people use Root. I rarely use Root. And this is blue to me down here, so it's not that big of a deal. I hit it with Personal Blizzard, and then I immediately hit it with Cold Snap, which is like it's basically a snare. And then I run aways. The only reason I'm running aways is because I want this cold focus to build back up, because my next cold spell takes 4 cold focus. I'm not going to have 4 cold focus, by the way. I'll only have 2. But if I don't have 1 or 2, it seems like I have a better chance of really hurting myself by casting this. Also, after I cast this one and I run away a little bit, I'm going to start casting Ember Arrow, and then I'll cast Static Arrow, and then I'll final go with the Ice Volley at the end. I don't normally need these right here. These spells I usually will cast if I don't want to cast another big spell if the guy's almost dead or whatever. These are very important to have up. I think everybody does, because these automatically fill your focus wheels here, and they're important, especially when you start taking on more difficult creatures. Now, a lot of people don't have this one up. They'll put something else up. I have it up because I actually use my health bar as one of my resources, which I'll explain in just a second. And then this one gives me 2 extra intelligence, and this is the icy orb that you see. Not only does it give me light at night, but it gives me 10% penetration, spell penetration. So I keep that up all the time. Now, some people don't want the shielding. They'll replace it with something else. I like the shielding, so I keep it there. Now, when I was talking about resources, there's 3 different resources that you're dealing with a wizard. One is your health, which the only reason I call it a resource is you can sacrifice some of your health to when you're taking out a creature. You can sacrifice a portion of it to take that creature out. But if you get too low, then you look at possibly dying. The next one is your mana, which, especially with high intellect, does not hardly ever become a problem. The only thing that I can say about the mana is that the one thing I'll say is that when you use your mana, you're going to end up taking longer to regenerate for the next creature or a series of creatures or whatever. So it's a resource in experience, not necessarily one creature, but it's a resource that's important to consider for a number of creatures and when you're trying to efficiently get experience. My goal today is to get, and it shouldn't be too hard, I should be able to achieve it, is to get 8 bubbles and maybe a little bit into the 9th, or pardon me, 7 bubbles and a little bit into the 8th, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, a little bit into the 9th. Okay, so that's the goal for today. And the last resource that you have to deal with, that a lot of classes don't, are these wheels. And so when you cast it, when you're casting spells, you're taking a certain amount of the focus away. But what this is doing is it's forcing you to not just be like hitting them with nothing but cold spells and spamming them. You have to go between shock, cold, and fire. And you really kind of have to spread it out. Or if you don't, then you're going to be limited on the number of spells, and you can actually start hurting yourself, or you can start stripping these other focuses at a more rapid pace. So let's just do this. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit him with Blizzard. This is just the way I do it. Other people might do it differently, and it's fine. I run a little ways away. The only reason I'm running away is I'm letting this focus build up. It would be really nice if it got to 3, but I don't usually anticipate it getting to 3. It did here. And now I hit him with this, which is going to drain. It's going to drain everything. And then if this happens, then I'll just do this. This elemental weaving, you build this, your focus here up to 10, and when you do, it hits them with a heavy amount of damage. And look at it, take strength, agility, and con. So a lot of people will say, well, wizard's all intelligence, except that if you read the spells on the very bottom, like down here, it tells you that they're taking up more than just intelligence. They're taking strength, agility, and con are going to modify the amount of damage you do. So if you did nothing in those, let's just say you built stamina and intelligence, well then elemental weaving is going to be weak. And not only that, but you're going to have a weaker blizzard, you're going to have a weaker ember arrow, you're going to have a weaker static arrow. In other words, your electrical attacks are going to be weaker, your fire, and your cold. My cold attacks are really powerful because I have a high level of agility. It's 17, which is pretty high for a secondary ability. I'm going to try to redo these items over time and build up my con and my strength. But I still want my intellect to get into the 30s, if at all possible. And I don't see the real need for wisdom, except for the possibility of increasing your spell crit, because it actually does. So it says right here, increases a learning rate, okay, big deal. Increases your spell crit, increases max mana for priests. The only one that you're worried about is spell crit for wizards. And so like my pants have wisdom and intellect. That's not horrible, because both the intellect and the wisdom, because if you look at intellect, it also increases spell crit. So I'm actually increasing my spell crit by increasing my wisdom as well. But wisdom is like the third of, and when I'm talking about the third category. So let's do this again, and I'll show you another time. This is a white con worm. So we're hitting with personal blizzard. Now we're out of focus completely. But now, because I haven't cast anything else, it's forcing the focus to build in the cold, which is where I want. And by the time I get casting this first spell, I might get up to 3. There I did. I popped up to 3. And then I don't even need to hit this elemental weaving. And then I usually pop 2 of these to fill them in. And this enables me, I don't pop all 3. I pop 2 because I'm waiting for mana and health. And when mana and health are building, by the time the cold focus gets to 100 or 5 of them, I'll probably be close to full on both my mana and my health. This is just the way I do it. And I look at this clock, and this clock is interesting because it serves 2 purposes for me. First, it shows me how long it's going to take to be able to hit my automatic get back cold focus or electrical or whatever. The second thing it's doing is it's giving me an idea of how quickly I'm killing creatures for efficiency. So like I killed a creature just less than a minute ago, like 45 seconds ago. Now I'm going to go kill another one. So this is probably going to tell me that I'm killing probably 2 creatures, or I can, in 2 minutes. And blue and white mobs in this particular scenario is what we're talking about. So I should be able to kill this guy before the end of this, which means it will have taken me probably 2 minutes to kill 2 creatures. And it just gives me an idea of the efficiency. So this is all like, at least the way I'm thinking of it, this is a way that I have built up my concept of efficiency, both on one creature and multiple creatures in a row, like how long it's taking me to get to the point. So, so in this case, I did it in 1 minute and 30 seconds, approximately. I killed 2 creatures in 1 minute and 30 seconds. Now, it doesn't really matter too much where I'm at here. If you con these are all like blood red to me. So I can't really, like, fighting them would be pretty difficult. So I'm just sticking right now to these worms for this level, for the rest of this level. I mean, that's kind of what my goal is. I just found a place that has a few of these worms. Not too many, like it has one mob that'll attack me over here. And then there's a big, huge, like, I don't know what you call it, rock creature that comes walking through here. So I only have 2 things I have to worry about. The big rock creature, which I've never been killed by him ever, and this guy, which kills me 1 time. This scorpion. And so the rest of these are indifferent to me. So that's kind of nice. And I can kind of like go way around this scorpion. Oh wait, I need to kill this guy first. So, getting ahead of myself here. And this is not the best place to pull. Where I was before is best, because where I'm at now, this is the pathing of that big giant rock creature. And these are the blue ones, and most of the white ones don't even really touch me. Like, I kill it before it touches me. And see how this, I've only got 1 focus wheel building. So I'll go around this scorpion here so I don't get, don't aggro him. And all these little, now if you're lower level this is different, but these wolves are like gray to me, so they're not going to attack me generally, unless maybe I walk right on top of them. But see, this is gonna max out before the mana does. So now I'm just waiting on the mana. But the way that wizards work is this mana will generate faster depending on how full these wheels are. So if you don't have any full wheels, the mana generation is slow. If you have 1, it's a little faster. 2, it's faster. 3, it's really fast. Like, it'll regenerate pretty quick. And you can see down here that I killed that particular mob 1 minute and 10 seconds ago. And there's one right here. And this one I usually have to watch because this big giant rock creature kind of aggroes around this, or pass around this area. So I'm just going to kill this guy. Now I could go find more of these worms. I know where they, I know where they are, but I'm doing other tasks while I'm waiting for the creatures to respawn. So it's not like I feel like I have to kill them. And then I'll just do 1 wheel this time. And see, I've just finished these 2, so that means I killed 2 creatures in 2 minutes. So that's not too bad. 1 minute a creature, or I can kill them faster. And again, they are white and blue cons. The interesting thing is, the yellow ones, the yellow con creatures, aren't, here he comes, see? It's coming around. I think that's the same one. That might be a different one. It's interesting, I don't remember him pathing like that. There he is, see, now he turns. This big rock creature. Takes a group and he's red, I'm sure he's level 40. And then he'll just walk right through here and turn this way. And so this is where I started the video, was right here. So I killed 3, 4, 5, 6 creatures in the time that you've been listening to my video, blue and whites. So then what I do is, this is usually where my starting point is. It's safe. I just sit and I'll go do something else. Like I'll go, I'm doing some painting, so I'll paint some horses or whatever I'm painting up right now. Or I'll, go do laundry or whatever. And then I'll just run another circle. But I could be killing more creatures, because there's at least 3 or 4 more that I'm aware of close by, but they're kind of a run to get to, so I don't generally worry too much about, at this point, maxing that out. So like right now, you can't see me, but I'm actually just gonna do a quick little paint, and then we're gonna talk about the next subject. I just have to touch up a couple spots that I saw on these horses that did not look right in my mind. Like that. And then I'll let those dry. Normally I would keep painting, but since I got you here, I just don't want you to sit here and look at this dead space. All right. Next subject we'll talk about. Leveling. So far I have broken my leveling into three periods of time. So leveling was really fast from level 1 to 10, and I think 1 to 4 you might even break that down even further, because that was really fast. But once you get to 10, it seems to kind of slow down a bit. Now other people are going to have different experiences. There's going to be different experiences for different classes. There's going to be different experiences on different servers with different how many people are playing on the servers, so there's a lot of different factors involved. But generally speaking, 1 to 10 is pretty fast. You can usually do that in like 2 or 3 days easy of playing around, and you don't even have to be really too focused. From 10 to 25 is a little slower. A little more dangerous, it seems, a little slower. No matter if you're grouping or not, it just seems to be a little slower. Not that there aren't people out there that can level really fast. When you get to level 26 and 27, I'm calling these the mini hell levels. And again, I have to tell you the time frame. This is February 15th, 2025. It's important because the developers of the game, they can change the game to make it harder, easier. You get more experience for blue mobs than you used to. They changed that. They'll add content to it, and so there's a lot of different factors that go in. So that's why I give you the date, because this may not be the same for your experience if you play it 6 months later or whatever from watching this video. But 26 was hard for XPing. The main reason was at least at the moment, there isn't a lot of content for level 26 solo and 27. So most of the creatures, you're going to have a tougher time because they're surrounded by red con creatures. Unless you know the zones really well, you'll wander around and you'll end up potentially aggroing one of these things and they'll kill you, or they could kill you. So that's one reason I'm going to say it was more difficult. I didn't actually level too much for level 26 and 27 in Silent Plains. I did it in Eastern Plains. Because Eastern Plains, there are places that at the current moment, they are they have very few mobs involved in them, or very few aggro mobs. And that's important when you're talking about like soloing. If you're in a location that is just indifferent creatures, you can pick and choose what you want to fight. But if you're in an area that has higher level like aggro mobs, well, now you're kind of playing in these little tiny locations that you just can't seem to, like, you can't really run a whole lot. You got to make sure that you're you know, that you're not aggroing them, so you've got these little lanes that you're playing in. And sometimes you'll actually even invis into some area, kill like 2 or 3 of the creatures that you think you can kill, invis again to get past some of the more difficult mobs. And people who can't invis are going to have a little more difficult time soloing in these areas. And so Silent Plains, I would say, isn't the best place to go at level 26 and 27 at the moment, unless you're grouped or duoed or boxed, maybe. I don't know. I can't really speak for the people who play in that fashion, because I have never played box, not that I'm against it, and I very rarely play in groups. I sometimes do, but the problem is, I've showed this like every time I've played. If you look at, here's the players in on the server right now, the server that I'm on, and level 20, level 21 warrior, level 24 necro. There's me at 28, level 23 summoner, level 21 shaman. So I am 6 levels higher than the second, at the current moment, the second person that's showing up as the highest. Now, that's not entirely true, because I know there's 3 people, or 3 characters I should say, that are level 27 and I'm 28, so they're only 1 level behind me. So that's kind of where you kind of have to decide where you're going to go. But I went to Eastern Plains for most of it, and it was grueling and grindy, because the creatures I was fighting were, in 26, were white and then blue, because I was fighting I was just fighting the grazers, these big giant dinosaur things. And that just takes a long time. But then 27 was even worse for me, which I said on my last video. I predicted it was going to be really bad, because most of my leveling was in the same area on the same creatures, and those creatures were now blue and light blue to me. So it took a long time to get through level 27. So 26 was bad, but 27 was worse. 28 is an interesting level. I'm not going to say that it was definitely not as bad as 26, and definitely not as bad as 27. 28 was a level that I had creatures to fight, but then when you kill them, a lot of times they'll respawn with creatures that are higher level, and they'll end up being, instead of yellow to you and white, now they are red. And so what starts to happen is your pool of creatures to kill diminishes. Now, if I was playing on a server with a larger population and people were ahead of me in levels, then chances are they would have also killed some of those red creatures off, and then they would respawn yellow for me or white for me, and then I would have, like, oh, perfect, like, it's kind of like a symbiotic relationship. I kill the lower level ones so that the higher level people have reds and oranges to me or whatever to kill, and then they kill those, and then that respawns like lower levels for me. And then it's kind of like we kind of help each other out in a way, because they don't want to kill the blues to them. The blues. So that is kind of the way I've seen this work out. But the problem is I'm the only one in Silent Plains. Now, I'll show you. I'm the only one. Seerensey is the only player in Silent Plains on this server at this time. And anytime I've seen other players, they're just coming through. They're passing through, they'll say hello or something, and then they'll keep going. Now, the 3 characters I told you about that are right behind me, they plan on coming to Silent Plains, because I don't think they can do much more where they're at. The only thing is that shortly they're talking about releasing the Druid. And so when they release the Druid, that's going to probably all change when they release the Druid. So, but they might just play the Druid, and I might not see them out here in Silent Plains. In fact, my expectation is that there's going to be a ton of people who are going to try out the Druid for a few levels. So you're talking maybe a week of a lot of people not leveling, which means that I could get to level 30 before anybody even comes into this zone to start XPing. It's possible. But I know that other zones or other servers, there's people already level 40 on other servers, and they're more populated. The groups are more abundant. They probably fight for mobs, camps and things like that. And we don't really have too much of that on this server. Like, I've heard some disputes, but they're around the orcs and stuff in Avendir's Pass, but there really isn't anybody, any politics that I can sense right at the moment. Right now, it's more of people not able to do content for group mobs because there isn't enough players or composition of players, because you kind of really need to have a good tank, and there's a lot of people not playing tanks up to levels. So my expectation is I should be able to finish out level 28, and it's not been a bad level at all. Level 28 has been pretty okay. It's slowed down a little bit because, like I said, some of the creatures I was killing before that were yellow to me are now red when they respawn. So I'm like, oh, I guess I gotta leave those behind. It's not a permanent thing though, because it's a good place to rest until he gets by. It's not a permanent thing because when they're doing, in this particular time frame of this game, they're doing a lot of upgrades to the game. The developers are adding things. They're adding creatures. They're adding mobs. So it's going to be completely different, probably by the time you play in Silent Plains, or you might even already be level 40 and going, yeah, it was so much different when we went through than it is even now. Some of the things I've noticed, some changes just recently. So first of all, those snakes that I've been killing, I call them worm snakes because they burrow into the ground. But the worm snakes, they used to be like, when I was level 24 or so, they were, their con was like, I won't kill that guy. I'll kill this one up here unless it's not up yet. Their con was like blue to me. So they came in and they adjusted these upwards. They made them a little more difficult than they used to be. And then they also added the things that they used to have in Eastern Plains, which are the wild bloods. They're like these wild humans or whatever. And they used to be in Eastern Plains, and they used to be kind of the same cons that the werewolves are now. Well, they put them in Silent Plains now, so I don't know if there's even any in Eastern Plains any longer. See, I didn't kill him, so I'll just hit him with these. And so they put them in here, and they're red to me now. So they've changed. That's what I'm talking about, them changing things around in the game. So, which is fine. So a lot of the stuff you see now, it may be different when you play it. You know, if you play it 6 months from now or whatever. And they change up some of the functionality of some of the creature, or not. I mean the classes or the races or whatever. But I don't think they're going to do much with the wizard. They'll probably add a little more spells for teleporting. I don't know. They might add some additional things. And then there's somebody asking me where he should go. It's in the guild. Okay, so they're already going to answer his question. He's level, like, I think 17 or something like that. So, let's see. 28 is just not too bad. If I had to do the entire level the way I'm doing it right now, maybe I would have been like sour grapes on it, you know? But not really. It's been a pretty easy. It's been a pretty steady level, I should say. Pretty steady. But level 27, just because of the way that the current setup is for the creature levels, yeah, 27 was the worst level I have experienced so far in the game. Now, how do I feel about that? Some people were complaining to me. They were like, well, or not complaining, but they make comments, I guess. You know, well, if you spent more time instead of crafting, you know, leveling or whatever. Well, so let me try to explain at least my perspective on things, whether you agree or disagree with it. When you solo, there's not a lot of good drops for solo people. There might be, like, hobgoblins might give you some things, orcs will give you some things, but there are big portions that if you do mostly soloing, you're either going to have to buy items off of other people, or you're going to have to go into groups and go into dungeons on occasion, which is fine. I don't see anything wrong with that. Or you're going to have to craft. The other thing that's nice is that you can actually increase your crafting skills. So I'll show you my crafting skill. So right now I am maxed out, almost maxed out on all my different crafting skills, like weaving and wood carving and woodworking and tailoring, and you know, I'm almost maxed out. I haven't done anything in salvaging or scavenging or tanning. I haven't done anything there, but I'm almost maxed out on those skills. That is what has enabled me to make a lot of these items here, you know, that I'm wearing. Which, those things being made then give me a higher intellect, which then make it easier for me to kill creatures. And it increases my level range that I can fight. So I can go up to, in some cases, I can go and kill oranges in some cases. Well, if I hadn't increased those crafting areas, then I would have to have other means of obtaining items. And here's the thing, a lot of these items that you obtain out of dungeons, like this is out of the ghosts, which I think are light blue to me right now, it gives me 1 wisdom and one intellect, 1 stamina and 1 intellect, right? But look what I do when I'm crafting it. I'm getting 2 stamina and 3 intellect, 3 stamina, 2 agility, 2 agility, 3 intellect. And these are things that you can, you know, you have a pretty good chance of obtaining in the game by yourself. I mean, it'll take a while because you'll have to find the schematics for them. And then once you find the schematics, then you have to figure out where some of the rarer items will drop. But right now, you can get all of the damaged ruins off of orcs, for example, which are soloable. You can get all of the other stuff from things like, I don't know, orcs too, I could drop them. But there's a lot of different creatures that will drop the essences or whatever they're called. And then you can mine and cut trees down for things like falcon feathers, which are necessary for making some items. And you can get those in Hagors. So, as you can see, from my explanation, hopefully, it'll make more sense to you that crafting isn't necessarily like a thing that you shouldn't do as for soloing. In fact, it's probably even more important for a person who solos than somebody who groups with other players who can go into dungeons and pick up you know, some nice items from some of the creatures that they kill. And because most of the nice items are dropped off of group mob creatures, it makes it more difficult for people who are soloing, because they'll either have to wait till they can kill those creatures. So I guess I hope that makes sense. I hope it makes sense that, you know, yes, I have crafted. I have taken some time out to craft and get my crafting levels up and to make items that I'm wearing. But I kind of feel like that increases your effectiveness at soloing. And it's nice to be able to craft those items anyway. I mean, if you find a schematic and you can't make it because you haven't crafted and you know it's going to be a decent item. I mean, I don't know. Anyway, that's my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. And I've always kind of wondered, like, why do I care whether you watch my video or not? And it's not like I make a lot of money off of this. I don't think I make any. You know, at least I have never been told that I have enough followers or whatever. So it's not like I'm making money off of this. So I'm not sure why I put a video out for people. I guess it's more of I can go back and watch my own videos and kind of see maybe some of the thought process I had and how those may have changed. I just think it's kind of interesting. But it's also kind of interested me why people who watch the videos take extra time to put a comment on somebody's video, especially if it's negative. I'm like, are you trying to help me improve? Like, or are you just laughing at me? I mean, I don't get it. But yeah, it's just kind of part of our culture, I guess. Anyway, I don't think I do so bad, but I know that there's better players out there. I've said this every video I've played. I know there's better players than myself. I've seen them, I've witnessed them, I watched them, and I'm just kind of amazed at how good some people are. And so I don't claim to be like the best player. Mm-hmm. And somebody will show me a technique, and I'll try it. Like, I tried this root technique. First of all, I tried it on yellow cats in Wild Plains. I don't know what they call them. They're like wolf cats, but they're cats essentially, I think. And it got resisted 70% of the time, like, or 75, I figured. Like, it hardly ever worked. But this one almost always works. Cold snap, a snare, for me, almost always works. And so I think it doesn't work maybe 5% of the time. Almost always works. So to me, it's a more effective strategy than using the root. spell Arcane Chords. Now, I will say, I use the root spell a lot when I group with people, and we end up with a monster that can't be mezzed. Or maybe I'm in a group that doesn't have an enchanter, or somebody who can do single mezzes. So, anyway, is there anything else that I can talk about right now? I don't think so. And I'm going to be, once I get up to just past this line here, I'm probably going to stop for the day. And then tomorrow, my intention is to finish up and be level 29 by tomorrow. And if that's the case, then I'll do another video. So anyway, this is Old Man Sarge with Seerensey at level 28. Got through the 2 grueling levels, 26 and 27. And we're off to the races. And my anticipation is next level 29, the whole, there's going to be a lot more openings for me. It's going to become a lot more easier to level, but I don't know what happens after that. And I know there's people with videos and stuff out there, or discussions, and I try not to watch them because I kind of want to learn on my own. And only when I get stuck do I go and start watching other people's videos generally. And I haven't really been stuck yet. I've been able to figure out things on my own. So thank you very much for watching. Old Man Sarge signing out. Have a great day.